the sincerity of your attempt is that which purifies your internal self, purifies your mind, purifies the buddhi, purifies all of that. So you change the focus, but simultaneously you recognize that all I have control over is my own sincerity. And that ultimately is what's propelling me on my spiritual path. The rest is in God's hands. This is the same mantra that we were speaking about last night, about do your best, work fully, work sincerely, but do not be attached to the fruits of your actions. And he's saying, but is this even possible? Like, can you really do your best without any attachment to the outcome? Well, that's the challenge and the opportunity. There's one outcome that we do actually have control over. And ultimately, that's the outcome that we are meant to really work on, which is the internal outcome. There's an external outcome, there's an internal outcome for everything we do. We have no control over the external outcome. Is the project going to work? Is my boss going to like it? Is the company going to take it up? Will the people buy it? We have no control over that. But we do have control over how do I, in the preparation of, the execution of, the working for, the visioning of this piece of work, I have total control over my own internal sincerity, commitment, selflessness, integrity. And that's what's important. It's in the doing of it with sincerity that we change. One of my favorite stories is of a little boy who lived with his grandparents, and his grandfather was always reading the Bhagavad Gita. And the little boy one day decided he was going to start reading the Gita. But he didn't understand anything, and he went to his grandfather and he said, "Grandpa, I'm trying to read the Gita and I can't understand anything. I don't remember what I read." And the grandfather says, "Well, try a little harder. Let me know how it goes." A few days later, the boy comes back. He says, "Nothing. Can't remember what I read. Don't understand what I'm reading. It doesn't make sense to me." Grandfather says, "Keep trying." Boy comes back a few days later, completely dejected. He cries. He says, "Grandpa, I'm worthless. I'm used like nothing." So the grandfather says, "All right." He says, "Instead of reading the Gita, take this basket." And he gives him the basket that they used to carry coal in. And they used to use coal for burning in the stoves and things. And he says, "Take this basket and take it down to the river and bring me back a basket full of water." And the boy thinks, this I can do. Manual labor, no problem. So he takes the basket and he runs to the river and he fills it with water and he runs back. But it's a basket, it's not a bucket. And so by the time he gets back, all the water has fallen out. And he's very dejected, and his grandfather says, "Go, try again, run faster." The boy again gets his basket full of water, runs back. Again, no water left, it's all leaked out. And he says, "Grandpa, can I get you a bucket of water instead?" He says, No, I don't want a bucket of water, I want a basket of water." So again the boy goes, and he keeps doing it. And every time there's no water left by the time he gets there. And now he's totally dejected, and he collapses in his grandpa's lap, and he says, "Grandpa, I can't even bring you what you want, a basket of water." And the grandfather says, "You think you're a failure." He says, "But look at the basket. And the basket's beautiful and shiny and clean. He said, "Do you remember what that basket looked like when you started? It was all black and grimy from carrying the coal. It was filthy." He said, "Even though your attempt to bring me a basket of water did not work, not even one drop of water got to me from the river, the sincerity of your attempt cleaned this basket so beautifully." And he said the same thing is true with this reading of the Bhagavad Gita. He said, you may not retain anything in the same way that the basket didn't retain the water, but the sincere attempt of it is purifying your mind the same way that the water purified the basket. And so whatever you're doing, the teaching is, whatever you're doing, whether you're reading scripture, whether you're trying to carry water in a basket, whether you're putting together a proposal or a project or a plan or doing something for the world, the sincerity of your attempt is that which purifies your internal self, purifies your mind, purifies the buddhi, purifies all of that. So it's not about how many drops are there, how much happens and works. It's about the sincerity of the attempt and the purification of you through that sincere attempt. So you change the focus. Yeah, you try. You've got to want the external goal, or you can't try sincerely. If the boy knew ki sambhavniye, there's no way I'm going to get a drop of water, then he's not going to try. He's not going to really work for it. You've got to believe in it. But simultaneously, you recognize that all I have control over is my own sincerity, my own integrity, my own commitment and dedication. And that ultimately is what's propelling me on my spiritual path. The rest is in God's hands.